Hello everyone, my name is Angela Miller of Concordia Consularis, the Spiritual and Business Agency of Peace, and it's my great pleasure to introduce this new 9-part series on transhumanism. It will contain everything that you need to know as a guidepost moving forward in the Fourth Industrial Revolution. What a bizarre name. Everything that you're going to need to know to stay safe, keep going, and be humane in all of your natural biological processes. So what is transhumanism and convergence? Well, transhumanism is an idea, a human idea, that focuses on adapting and enhancing the biological human to bring presumed improvement or repair to the human physical form. So convergence is the meeting of separate lines of origin that meet in one place, usually from a different time or timeline or point of origin. When transhumanism converges in one place to a pre-programmed or predefined point in time, it means that it has been used to implement this program of transhumanism. And that's a pretty big statement to make, but it is being bombarded via the use of all sorts of methods, signal-based technology, biotechnology, and other forms of scientific process that have gone to the nth degree to replicate, duplicate, hijack the natural biological feature, operation, imperative of the human individual. So in other epochs of time, we use Atlantis as an example of high technology, where we utilized enhanced technologies as a way of time travel, harmonizing with the divination technologies. AI was also used here, augmentation, but also nanotechnology, biotech, and high alchemy, amongst other methods of human control or annihilation of species. So we are aware that these few examples were just operational throughout these different last 4 previous teacher worlds, and we see them now present in other forms of control in the world government mind control programs, their corporations, religious factions and orders, scientific and money magic enterprises, all designed to keep the energy from your human profile, your natural soul journey, and keep you locked into a technological nightmare that you will be hosting as a result. And a really strong representation of this came through the cultural program of Star Trek, actually, and I'm going to use this as an example of the Borg, who used to assimilate individuals, species, races, and entire civilizations into their collective by literally sending nanotech assimilation cells to the individual via the spine and the skeletal system of the host, targeting the bone marrow and other essential vital functions of the body. It has been noted in previous cases, also in the gut, the spine, right the way through to the skull, into the frontal cortex, eventually taking over control of the being. So a mechanical connection is made to the host, into the hive collective, beginning to virtually program through your senses, internally and externally, to pulse your neurons and synapses, and via the constructs of their program. And this is transmitted from the collective, their group, their configuration, into the host for conversion. The central nervous system responds to the pulses and creates ideal mental conditions for the DNA RNA sequencing action to begin to host memories and follow biological automation processes throughout the whole body. Then the mind adaptation begins to program the physical form and the function of the biological host. Then the mind and the biological alterations and adaptations are completely ready for hive directive orders from its program architect or originators. So there is a process to it. There is a conversion process to it. It could be at any one of a number of things, but all having an artificial sensory stimulation of some sort. We see it every day in the generations of children that grew up with iPads. They are naturally predisposed to screens. It all starts pretty early on and has done for quite some time now. And we saw this implosion of technology arrive post-2000 when all the new crystal children were being born. And obviously they're really great at computer games, virtual setups and multi-dimensional games into that process. If you know children who are considered to be Generation Z, they will be naturally predisposed to this already. Sometimes they see the parents operating their equipment and they want to just adapt and be the same. So the only key here for that is to ensure that your children spend time in nature and that they understand that the natural biorhythms of all life on Earth aren't necessarily good for them, or that there is a distinct contrast between the dopamine hit from a computer game that a child will receive and eventually become addicted to. So these kind of perpetual hosts do not live a life of their own. They often believe and operate the agendas of the system programmers and influencers. The spirit of the human is then under full control. Always the soul is in demise as a result and not able to harmonize effectively with the individual or their essence. Transhumanism was always at the heart of highly advanced medical aids from the Star Elders, who would have been supporting their races with their own brand of technology, specific for the individual, to help them survive the ever-damaging impacts of life on planet Earth. From the primordial times of peace at the base of all source creation, the sacredness of every individual was present at the deepest part of the connection with the human soul anchored into the physical body. When the races heard the call of Mother Earth in distress, we began to interact with the universal technologists of various groups and conglomerates to resolve the issues that were affecting Earth. The transhumanist technologies were being used, sold, and introduced to all avenues of life in this universe. Every being on Earth has been involved in the use and misuse of technology. All transhumanist technology has been recorded and logged with full serial numbers and traceable theories and cultural identification tags. The original human does not need enhancements to realize their supra potential, just activation. This is your divine right. This is who you once were. And these are the choices that we must make as individual humans at this time even. So your awakening ultimately depends on the strength of your spinal system and your central nervous system. Is that energy able to interact with all of the energy centers in the body? Is that a free-flowing movement, or is it hindered by any incoming signal-based technologies? And the situation is getting worse in Europe, UK, Canada, and the US, because they're just implanting other types of transmitters that really do have a negative impact on the magnetic frequency of the body and the soul. It makes the body weak and more open to receive signals at a core level within you. So here we must remember that technology is neutral. The problem lies with the use of human consciousness in unawareness, without full knowledge of how the tech is interacting within their human and spiritual system and their infinite experience. If negative emotion was present in the human while this conversion takes place, it will be able to utilize the frequency of the majority of the emotions and perpetuate more of the same, more food to be sold and bartered with. If what people might not be aware of, they think, well, this is a quick fix solution. I'd like an instant dose of this technology and see how this is going to benefit my life in some sort of way. Well, I'm going to say to you that you're probably looking at it from a very one-tracked mind, programmed mind, because the impacts will last for more than 33 generations into the future. It will create physical issues in your biological material as you move forward on your infinite journey 300 lives into the future. And I'm sure then that we'll have the undoing technology, a bit like the spiritual courts of equity and resolution for those individuals. Technology, though, will need to be upgraded on a continual level. And if you are overtaken as a transhuman and you're literally being fed upon and fed off, this will affect the unborn biologically, so that they will be predisposed to the format that is in operation by the parents. Already we're seeing the decline of numbers in population and the potential cloning of babies and genetic material, which will ultimately lead to doom for the human race in itself. And this is being drip fed into culture in all areas. The dehumanization element of where your physical DNA, human origin, is being completely trashed. And this is quite severe in what I'm saying, because you think, well, how can I prevent such things from happening? Well, you can, and that's being a living, breathing of your own energy, magnetic energy being pulsing through your body, but unable to interact or unwilling to interact with any form of signal-based technology, any application that may be on your phone, computer. You may observe the information, but you will not process it through your system as a belief system. Now, this is the challenge people are going to face. And just after these trying few years of complete mind control that has been in operation pre-transhumanist era, to make people or lull people into a false sense of security while they wheel out their beneficial technologies to the human race. And some will embrace it and some will not. And some will just float somewhere in between. So what will you do in the fifth world of peace? Will you expand the natural energies of Earth Mother and the universe, or will you put a chip in your brain or in any other body part and allow automated function and give your power and control away? This is what you're dealing with. So it's time for you to make choices about how you live, because things are going to change. And then we can only anticipate more fear from these areas as people become to be increasingly concerned about transhumanism, cyborgism, robotics, and augmentation of reality. So will it be a virtual program? Because if you're virtually programmed, you will not be living the true experience. It's only a one-dimensional translation of an image, a video, a room where there's just so much technology. You can feel all the different mechanisms working and interacting together, and also trying to interact with you. So really consider what I'm saying here. The next episode is going to be all about what are the different types of technology and how do they function, how do they interact with the human. So I bring you this series on behalf of Concordia Consularis, the Spiritual and Business Agency of Peace. I can assist you if you've been affected by transhumanism in a physical form. If you've been affected by any of these issues that I've raised today, I'm one of a few people that has the technical expertise to help you. There is a specific protocol to use in these scenarios, because what we're doing is getting you back from being transformed into non-organic matter on a light body level. And it is very specific process that will enable the reclamation of your soul back from these inorganic, non-biological machines and technologies. So thank you very much. I hope this is recording. I think it is. If I'll be around during about half an hour after I release this evening. It's January the 1st. I hope and pray for you that you have a beautiful year ahead of you, and that life brings you all blessings on your human journey that is infinite. See you next time. Eventually. Find the glasses when I need them. Ooh. Stop.